Okay, doing a little bit of interior work on Phoenix. So I have the one of the pieces I hadn't put in yet because I haven't cleaned it up and painted it. It's just the center console. So you see the little red piece here. Got that out of the junkyard because I didn't have that one. The other side is in there. I got two doors that I was looking at. I got the gray one out of the junkyard, which is nice because it's not as much painting, but it has this nasty stuff here to come off, to get off there, and then the little mounting stud is broke. Then I have this one here that is actually metal, not plastic, but it's red. It has the little mounting hole there, which more or less matches what I have here. So I'll probably be using a red one, even though I've got to paint both sides. I got to redo a kick panel because I painted two driver's side kick panels. So that is one of them things. So it's not too terrible bad condition, but you can see the factory paint kind of coming off. So those of you who might think, hey, you know, painting plastic, well, the factory did it. It lasted 20, 30 years. So there's a couple pieces I need to pull off here before I paint it, get it clean. Not sure what that is. I know that right there is the cigar lighter, so I'll pull all that stuff out. And got a shifter boot that needs cleaned up, and I'll paint the shifter boot bezel that canyon black that I've been doing. That way everything's all nice and clean and painted. So the other thing is, I'll pull this piece out of the way. Kind of a typical thing that I'm seeing on the Fox bodies is this piece here breaks just because it's just so thin, and that's holding up half the weight of all this, you know, and all the twisting, and it's not as thick as the other side. So I'll go through how I'm repairing this and show y'all what I do on that and make it nice and sweet. Okay, so I'm taking a peek at this and getting some of the hardware out. I noticed on here I got the radio support out, and that booger there is broke. Can't really see the video here, but what has happened is, of course, you know, someone puts aftermarket stuff in. That's what we do to our cars, and they drilled a faceplate in here, and one of these drilled right through that mounting hole and busted it up. So I'll figure out how to fix that later. The other thing I did whenever I was looking at this piece, I noticed there's some cracks. So I just took my Sharpie and went around it. Probably can't see it, but that had a crack in it. You can see that one there. That's all cracked and boogered up. So I'm just going to go through after I clean it, repair these spots. If I don't knock my running out of table room, if I don't knock my piece off there. So I have a box here that I'm just kind of putting all the stuff I'm not working on just yet that kind of go to this, and I'm about ready to do a first clean. Also, this piece here I noticed is bent, so I'm going to clean it up. There's some overspray on it, and it's just kind of semi-rusty and dirty. And I know it's hidden back in there, but I'm just going to go ahead while I'm painting the bezel black, paint that canyon black too, and it'll be all nice and clean and crisp. Alright, I'm working on some of the cracks in here. So I found one right up there. So I've come in and sanded the back and drilled a couple holes in there. So I'll fill that in. Same with these holes right here that someone's drilled in. Well, no focus. There we go. And then that mounting spot there, I'm going to fill that in too, and then re-drill that. So we got, oh, there's another hole there I need to fill in. Didn't even see that till I got the camera on it. That's a good thing about video logging this stuff. It's just as much for my benefit as anyone else. Alright, and then of course the big broken spot here, I've gone in and drilled a couple holes in there so that the epoxy has a place to bite. Sanded it, scuffed it real good with some 80. And what I'm going to do next is just kind of tape the outside, which is going to be the visible side. That way I should have a good flush, flat spot. And then once I do that, I'll mix the stuff up and use my toothpick to pick it in there and let it sit. Okay, so I mixed this is what I'm using, the plastic bonder one. It's kind of tan. When I first mixed it up, it was a little runny. So what I did, I went in and did my holes over there first, so it kind of run into the hole. Because if you ever try to epoxy a hole, it's hard to get it to go in there and get flat. Then I just continued around. By the time I got the holes done, it thickened up a little bit, but it's still quite workable. Here's that other spot right there. Some of these spots are just really hard to get in there, but at least I'm making it a little better than what it was. But yeah, I had a pretty good work time. I didn't run out of work time, even though you know, I have to come in and do all these little spots, which just takes time. We'll see. I don't know what the I guess I could read the thing. 15-minute cure time. So I'm going to let it sit 24 hours before I really mess with it. But I also have this other piece here that I'd marked some areas on that I need to work on, like that little tab there. I found a crack in it somewhere. So I'll probably give it 15 minutes and then move it, and then 15-20 minutes to move it and start working on this piece next. Okay, I got the top console piece here. What I've done pretty much the same thing. Over here, I sanded it down, and I drilled, on this one I drilled some through holes in it. On these here, since I knew I could see the back side of it, I just drilled a few kind of about halfway through holes, that way it can get a good bite. I'm just going to show mixing this stuff up and putting it in there. Of course, it's all back tape on all that too. Oh, that's probably going to be too much. Oh well, it's fine. Anyways, mix it up so you can kind of see how liquidy it is, or how thin it is compared to like the 5-minute epoxy or other things like this, or Bondo or whatever. So hopefully, given that's just straight up and down, these holes will feel better than what I had on the other one. Just kind of patting that in, spread it out, make sure it has a good bite on it. There is one hole here that is not a drill hole. I gotta make sure not to fill that in. I'm wearing shorts, and there's a fly that keeps landing on my legs while I'm trying to do this. It did that to me last time too. That looks good. I did dribble a little bit there. I'll need to clean up. So it's already starting to thicken a little bit, but not set up per se. Come around here, make sure that has a good bite on it. Okay. I've probably got my head or hat right in the way. I'm realizing that now. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to call that and clean up a little dribble there. Easier to clean up than the regular stuff. It's not as sticky as the other stuff and thick. Okay, I'm working on the console. All the glue I put on dried, so I'm just preparing the surface for paint. I went in and just did a light scuff on the inside, kind of the spots that aren't really seen. I'll dust those. Unfortunately, all these scratches, it looks like the paint's holding up good, but there's just a lot of scratches and mishandling on this, so there's really no way to do it quick or cheat. It's I'm going to have to just sand it down as best I can, and some of these areas like this I might just scuff, but anywhere there's a scratch, it's got to go all the way down and I feather it out really good, or else it'll show up immediately that I didn't go through and feather it out good enough. I tried that on well, Jim here and a couple other painting projects I've done before. If it's not all the way down to bare, then you're going to see it pretty much. So anyways, I got other pieces laid out. They need to be wiped down. They're ready to paint. I'm doing the insides of these first. That way, whenever I flip them over, well, I'm not doing the inside of the kick panel, but that way when I flip them over, I don't have to worry about that. I can focus on doing the visible side and making sure I got a good coat on it. Alright, I just kind of started up here and worked my way around and knocked down all the wear areas. I think I said damage before, but this really isn't damage up in here. That's just a wear area. You know, this is 30-something years old. Damage is more of the broken stuff, is how I categorize that. So I'll just knock that down. See, there's a spot that has some wear in there somehow. And I'm trying not to sand off the texture at all. I just want to knock this stuff down and make it look a little better. And then I'm going to come through with my red Scotch-Brite and go over it. So the stuff I'm using is the Mirka abrasive mesh. I don't think I would use a regular sandpaper on this. I think it would just eat into the plastic if I try to do a 180 regular sandpaper on it. So this is a new product that a professional guy told me about who does body work and all that. So I'm just using a 180 to knock it down. It's good and flexible. It's more like a Scotch-Brite than a sandpaper, but it's, as you can tell, I made quite the mess here. I'll need to get that cleaned up before I move on, but I'm ready to just kind of come around, and I actually kind of started there a little bit. And turn around and do this side so you can see kind of the wear and where the paint's kind of coming off. That's damage right there where it was cracked. Not much I can do about that. It just kind of is, you know, it's broke. It's been repaired. I'm sure I could go in and try to hide that and retexture it, but I'm not going into that level of detail for something that's going to have a seat right next to it. Alright, purple powered and washed off these pieces I'm about to paint. So I've got them kind of just sitting in the shop in front of a fan, just to let them dry off a little bit. And I'll take a break while they do that, and then I'll start my super prep on those and these pieces here. Shut the doors and get the painting. Okay, the painting is done. So I think this is going to come out good. It's not per se wet, but it's not cured. I guess what they say, dry to touch. So, as you guys know, I'm in my two-car garage, so I'm always concerned with getting dust, and I think I might have got a little bit of dust. It's probably not going to pick it up. It's just a big old sea of gray. But I might have a little bit of dust particles in there, but it seems like it flowed out really nice. The other thing, like I said before, when I'm videoing this, I don't know why, but I can see mistakes in different things and get a different level of detail looking on screen, which is kind of odd, but especially since it's low resolution and don't want to focus half the time. So yes, this is was red, now granite gray, which is kind of close to a smoke or opal gray. I'm looking, I don't see any red. Which one of these was the red trim piece? Oh, no one knows now. Only I know which one was the red trim piece. Come out very, very good. I got this one down here. I don't know if we can see it. I think there's one spot I may have to touch up on this. It's where I didn't get it super, super clean. And that's the bad thing about painting plastic. It has to be super, super, super clean and prepped, or else stuff don't stick. I just turn you upside down. Here, right there, we can see it. I think I'll have to go over that area where it just wasn't clean enough. Even with a super prep, scrubbing down with purple power. So, very beautiful. Might look at it a little more after it's cured up, but good work of art.